Hello, everybody. Okay, this works. Hi, everybody. Um, it's exciting to be here. My name is Maria, and I'm going to start by answering the last question that was on the board and give my own interpretation to the answer. I think how we inspire children is by giving them confidence, but that is such a broad topic, so let's break it down. Today, we're going to speak about the missing ingredient in education, and that is social-emotional learning, and how we can utilize this branch of psychology to literally change the world. Um, Starting off with a quote, but while you read the quote, I'm going to share more about myself. My name is Maria. I study creative writing, and like most creative writers, I went into medical sales for a long time. So nothing to do with social-emotional learning for a long, long time until I became a parent. When I became a parent, such a life-changing experience, but my daughter at the age of 4, she unfortunately experienced bullying, and it changed a little bit how she wanted to go to school. She didn't want to go to school suddenly. She was afraid of being bullied or what people would say, or that she couldn't defend herself. And you know, obviously that shapes how you learn in school as well. If you're scared, if that is not a safe environment, if everybody's not behaving correctly, then we really are missing out on so much. So at the time, I decided that, it's been 10 years since I graduated. Maybe it's good to just go ahead and apply my creative writing skills. My husband is an illustrator, so we developed a little story which we put her in as the main hero, and we showed her how to deal with a bully. And it was a customized book. It was just for her. And it worked so well that other parents started asking for their own books for their own children. And that's how I started to think, maybe this is an idea we can explore. That led to my first company, which ended up closing because, like most entrepreneurs, we make a lot of mistakes. So we opened that company. It was a very boutique little project where we customized books for children. Technology wasn't there, so it wasn't attractive for investors. We closed it, we pivoted, and now we're building something great. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about social-emotional learning. So social-emotional learning, it's an integral part of education and human development. It's a process through which all young people and adults acquire and apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop healthy identities, manage emotions, achieve personal and collective goals, feel and show empathy for others, and so on. Now, that's a lot of information in one definition. So let's break it down. Social-emotional learning is a branch of psychology, and it has 5 pillars. The first pillar is self-awareness. The second one is self-management. Then we have social awareness, relationship skills, and lastly, responsible decision-making, which is what we greatly lack in our society right now. So why is it important? A bit of a reality check. The numbers I'm going to put up are representative only of the people that had the courage to come forward and ask for help. We have to realize that in our society, people that suffer from depression and anxiety and fear generally don't ask for help. So right now, we know this. We know 14% of youth suffers from major depression episodes. These are US numbers where they keep track. 10% of youth suffers from chronic depression, and suicide is the 10th leading cause of death. The pandemic made this worse. Again, social-emotional learning is not just for people that are suffering. It's for people that want to optimize their skills and behavior and do better in life. So it's all-inclusive. However, we can greatly help people that are dealing with any type of negative emotional situation. You see this on the news quite a bit. I don't watch news, but when I do, you hear that a lot lately. Suicides, bullying, even bullying at work, adults. How is that possible? Like we should have the ability to think outside of that. So what is possible if we were to teach social-emotional learning at a younger age to children? Although anybody can participate in this process and can gain a lot, we know now that if we expose children at the age maybe 5 to 10 we are doing a lot of prevention. After that, we have treatment. After that, we have to see psychologists, we have to read books, we have to deal with trauma. But if we give them the skills between the age of 5 and 10, we are actually helping them not having to deal with those issues. So the next generation of people will be seriously upgraded. Imagine a whole generation of people that is self-aware, takes responsible decisions, has social awareness, can manage themselves, and can build really healthy relationships. Imagine what is possible. Now, we can prevent negative emotional situations, and we can literally optimize human behavior and performance. The benefits are in 3 categories. The first one is the cognitive category, second one is social, and the third one is emotional. Where do we stand now? Social emotional learning is relatively new. Some teachers have the courtesy to take this on, and maybe once in a while do a bit of something in class where they help help kids understand very basic, on a higher level, what social emotional learning is. We don't have this in Cyprus. Maybe a few teachers here and there that, again, take it on themselves to do it without instruction or curriculum or any technology. In the United States, however, it has been recognized as a very important part of education, and thankfully, it's now being integrated into their main curriculum. Currently, in the United States, we see workshops, speakers, and a little bit of technology being involved. So we need to upgrade this, and we need to streamline the process. We need to give all children the same opportunity to access social emotional learning tools at a younger age. So equal opportunity for everybody. So let's look at the pillars again. Now, when I go over these pillars, perhaps you can think about where you personally stand with each one of these pillars. I know we're adults, and I know that most of you are amazing, and that's why you're here, but let's think of where we stand with self-awareness. Self-awareness is defined as the ability to understand our own emotions and thoughts, values, and how that influences behavior across all contexts, right? This includes capacity to recognize our strengths, our limitations, and a well-grounded sense of confidence and purpose. So I don't know. In my case, I think I was 30 before I started realizing that I'm confident enough to go after my dreams. Imagine if I had this when I was 10, right? Where would I be now? So that ties in with the last question from the previous speaker. We need to take SEL in schools, and we need to get kids to feel confident to explore their own ideas, to fail. Failure is fine, and then let them fly, right? So self-management, this is very important. This ties in with bullying and all the negative social situations as well. It's the ability to manage our emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. You know, you cannot manage how everybody else is going to deal with us or thinks of us or says to us. But we can manage how we react to that, right? So this includes the capacity to not want instant gratification, constantly instant gratification in our society. We can learn to manage stress and feel motivated and accomplish personal and collective goals. I don't know where everybody stands on that, but I'm just getting there myself, right? And I know I look 20, but I'm 40. So social awareness. This is also very important, and this we greatly lack, not in Cyprus, everywhere in the world. You know, it's the ability to understand. This actually would address the whole issue of equality and discrimination, and we can literally address so many things through social emotional learning. We don't need to take it one by one. Just teach this to kids, and then it should do its job, right? So social awareness is the ability to understand the perspectives and empathize with others, right? It's including those from diverse backgrounds, from places that we know nothing about. And this includes a capacity to feel compassion for others and understand broader historical and social norms for behavior in different settings, recognize family, school, and community sources and supports. The next one, are you thinking about yourselves a little bit or no? You're just listening to me? A little bit? Okay. So relationship skills. I mean, this is greatly important for adults because divorces, everywhere, fights everywhere, at work, with our friends. It's just relationships are so important for our well-being. Before I go into this, I want to say that over 200 studies have shown that acquisition of social emotional skills literally upgrades our academic performance, our overall well-being, even our health, right? So we need to seriously look at this. Now, go to responsible decision-making. Imagine if you had kids that can take very responsible decisions, stressful, like stress-less parenthood, right? If you can trust your children. So responsible decision-making is the ability to make caring and constructive choices about personal behavior and social interactions across diverse situations. This includes the capacity to consider ethical standards and safety concerns and to evaluate the benefits and consequences of various actions for personal, social, and collective well-being. That's a lot to take in, right? But it sums up with being responsible with our decisions and thinking about the impact that it will have on others, on us, and so on. So let's dare to imagine, right? So we have these 5 pillars. There's a way to teach these 5 pillars to kids, right? It's not something new. I mean, it's a concept from ancient Greece. And I don't know why we just forgot about it for thousands of years. We need to bring it back and we need to put it into education. So the future, the possibilities are great. If we get where my vision is and manage to put this into schools, we are looking at reduced aggression, reduced emotional distress. We have increase in helping behavior in schools. Like imagine sending your kids to such an environment every day, right? Improve positive attitudes towards ourselves and others. Increase confidence, which addresses, I think, 90% of the problems we have in life. Increase sense of purpose, which addresses anxiety, depression, fear, and all that. Reduce risky behavior. Increase the ability to make sound choices, the ability to relate to others, and improve our academic performance. That's good, right? All right, so my role, and I'm finishing up with this. I don't know if I was fast, if I went quite fast, but I'll take your questions. My role, so as I mentioned at the beginning, I had a little company that closed down, but I was found by some great mentors, and I was nurtured, and we are getting ready to launch our SaaS platform for social emotional learning, which is going to go into private schools in Cyprus and in United States, also private sector first, because there's a lot of bureaucracy to get into the public system, so hopefully eventually we'll get there as well. So this platform is going to streamline how we teach this to kids by engaging them to participate in constructive stories where they can learn responsibility, self-awareness, self-management, relationship skills, and so on. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Maria Howard. Maria, thank you very much for the presentation. Personally, I loved it. I will start with one question before we see these questions. My question is, you said that this is going to be implemented in schools.
Yes.
Do you believe that what is the level of the emotional intelligence of the educators going to influence how much they can share this knowledge to the kids?
Okay, so we took that into consideration. So while we're building this platform, we have a team of psychologists on board. And what we're doing is our content comes with prompted questions for each child. So it's already there. Now, if an educator has the ability, the time, and the emotional intelligence to intervene and create even better content for kids, they can do that. Or they can go with our own curriculum that's been tested and approved.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's take some of the questions here.
Yeah.
Should we let kids watch news?
I don't know. I don't think so. Depending on the age, what age are we talking about? Like if they're under 10, I don't think it serves anything,
Okay.
I think it's news as it is now. No, it's just fear. We're feeding them with fear, nothing else. So no point to it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
How could adults train themselves in order to teach their children social anxiety, emotional learning?
Okay.
Sorry.
So there is a lot of material out there. You can find me afterwards, and I can if you have any questions, I can point you in the right direction. But the best way is literally to just take a book that is designed for this, sit down with your child, and start working on the content. And eventually, you're going to grasp as well how it's done, and then you'll be able to implement it in your daily life.
Thank you for that. Vanda asks, what do you personally suggest to support SEL adoption by schools? Implement specific SW, try to change the legislation, teach teachers other.
All. So the first step is to actually give them something that's really easy to use, so we don't make it harder for them. You know, they already have a hard job as it is. So we've got to get the teachers to want it first, to try it and to see the value. Then we of course have to work with the ministry. So it's not part of legislation, okay? With the curriculum that we have in the ministry, we've got to show them how easy it is to integrate. But like I said, unfortunately, the public sector would need upgrades in technology for this. And that's why we're going to private schools first. However, we will be opening the platform to parents on the retail side, the B2C side, on the second phase. So if your child is not in the private school sector, you can take it upon yourself to access this material.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
The second question, I think you already answered it. How do we educate parents first? Let's choose, why don't you make a proposal to the Ministry of Education?
Again, it comes back to the fact that at this point, I know how the system is kind of structured here, and it's best to come back with proof and show them that this works than trying to change their mind on something they're not familiar about. So why not go where we're wanted and where they're looking for us and already agreed to use us, get some results, come back, and then it's just, they can't say no to it. But for the Ministry of Education to collaborate with us, it would need to upgrade all schools so every kid has access to technology. So it's a few years from now, at least in Cyprus.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, do we have time for more questions? Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
So, how do you visualize educating? Okay, I lost that one.
Yeah, me too.
Choose another one.
All right.
Who will set the agenda for what the kids learn through your initiative?
The curriculum is that we have a team of professional child psychologists on board and social emotional specialists. So they're working on the content. We're looking to get it approved from the American Association of Psychology, of course. That's the next step for America, and then for Cyprus, the Pan-Cyprian Association of Psychology. So they will be approving it. Eventually, though, and this is a cool part, because everybody we speak to in the industry says they want to contribute to this. They have a lot of knowledge, the professionals. So we're looking at opening a marketplace, kind of, it's the best way to describe it, where educators and other professionals in this sector can write their own content, and it can be shared with kids. So it's going to be only for professionals to provide the material. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So we answered the last one. Yeah. I think we answered all of them.
Yeah, okay. If anybody else has any more questions, I'll be in the crowd.
Great. Thank you. Give it up for Maria, ladies and gentlemen.